Okay, so I figured we'd do a small update. I want to sort of document things as they go along. We've got the frame rails in, and the new trunk support is in, and everybody's happy in there. It turned out pretty good. It's not too bad. I welded on the inside of those two. There's like an overlap joint inside that we could weld on, and it's super solid now. I can't believe how, I think it's more solid than it was when it had all of this junk inside of it. And it's still not even complete. Once we get the floor pan in and the new wheel houses and so on, it's going to be super solid. I'm really impressed. What I'm doing today, I want to sort of finish off the rear frame issues, if you want to call it that, because this stuff here is all done and ready for, I've even trial fitted the trunk floor. It fits great, and I recut along the edge there, and it's good. It'll line up perfect. I'm going to butt weld this guy, and then of course we'll do the standard plug welds along the side, and then of course across the back here we'll do that. But yeah, there's that that corner of the frame in there where it was cracked from old accident damage. And also, one thing I hadn't mentioned is between here and here, there's a piece that's basically been cut out. I couldn't tell you why. It was originally like that. So what I've done, I have, and it's kind of odd looking, but this guy here is going to be folded in the middle. It'll be a 90. It's going to go between the frame and then the cross member. And that'll strengthen up that area where the frame has the crack. It'll sort of bring that back to par. And then this piece here with its odd angles and shapes will take care of that upper trunk support, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, in behind there. So yeah, I don't know. Here we are in the garage. Just gonna do I wanted to do a small update of what we're doing today, and I'll come back after hopefully I can get these patches cut out and welded into place. We'll see if I get them. Whenever I get them done, we will continue this video and make it a little longer. So see you soon. Okay, quick update number 2. That is where that guy is gonna sit. We'll plug weld it and then weld down the sides, maybe the bottom. This guy will go up in here. That's got to be pinched together, but yeah, either way. Hey. So we'll see how she goes. Okay, just to further put into perspective what all we had to do to get this trunk support and stuff in. As we know, I'm trying to save whatever paint I can save. It's looking dirtier all the time. A lot of grinding and shit going on in here, but anyways, paint's reasonably good. This is all covered with the honeycomb and stuff across the back. We're not going to see this. Regardless, I didn't want to put a taillight panel in the car. The bottom edge, it comes down and then it attaches to your trunk support here. The bottom edge had rotted out probably 100 years ago. Well, 52 years ago likely, but anyways. And they had put in the most god-awful patch. It was the usual stuff for this car. It was riveted and tarred in place. So I took that out. There was enough lip along the bottom that I could plug weld to, and I made a new 90 to go down. Unfortunately, to do that, as you can see, probably better from maybe this angle, this has a rise and then flat and then a fall and then across. So we had to make a piece for that. This is all new, and it attaches to the trunk support up inside here. I guess we can't really see it, but regardless, that's all new. And so it's basically welded on up in here. Where are we? Up in here. You can see a plug weld there and there. And then that goes to that. This trunk lock mechanism was broken across here. I had to weld it up. The arms, I had to weld them back on at the bottom. They had them riveted on, you know, because they love their rivets, these guys. So literally just to get the structure in place to attach the rear trunk support underneath so that I could attach the frame rails to the trunk support was just, there was a lot of work in that to build a piece with a 90 that goes up and then back down. It was quite a bit of work for me, but we got her, and it's all pour 15 now, and it's ready for seam sealer across the back. But I'll probably seam seal it all as I seam seal the trunk floor in. We'll see however that goes. I'm not worried about it. But again, we were talking about earlier, I have our little corner patch in there. It's not the prettiest, but a little seam sealer will fix that up, and then we've got this side here fixed up as well. So from here we're going to, literally it's time to finally start putting the outer, I got to get this side prepped. You can see here it's just horrendous for the amount of rust and stuff down in there. I got to get that cleaned up. It's rust, but it's just the old steel still attached inside down in there. So I got to get all the old steel removed on this side. This side's pretty much ready to go. A little bit of cleaning up, and I've got, I'm going to have to drill in sections, and we'll plug weld the outer wheel house in there. And once the outer's in, I'm going to do the outers on both sides. You know, when you're trying somehow to save the paint job out here, I'm going to put the outers on both sides, and then I'm going to mount the trunk floor, because from what I can see, it has essentially only one good mounting position that's going to work, especially with these 64 to 71 or 64 to 70 frame rails. That's what these are. They don't make just the rear frame rails from here back for the 71 to 3. You got to do the whole frame rail. In retrospect, I don't know if it would have been more or less work to have done the whole frame rail and torque box. But here we are, and this is what we're doing. I mean, this isn't I got to remember, this isn't a flipper car. This is a car that I intend to keep until who knows how long, a long time. The intention is to add subframe connectors. The longer ones, I forget who makes them, but the ones that come right up the back of the frame and attach and then go right to the front frame. They'll sort of help strengthen things up a little bit further. The rockers are very good though, so I'm not worried about strength overall, but hey, I'll take whatever I can get. So again, once we get the trunk floor in with the outers tacked in place or welded in place, however that looks, then we're going to do the inners. Next step before I put those outers in is we got to cut. I'm just gonna cut this shit off. Fuck it. I'm gonna literally grind. I'm gonna take my zip cut, and I'm gonna, like, you can see this actually gets wider as it goes, and it kind of comes around and it's supposed to meet up with this. And then that's what your inner tub fits to. Unfortunately, like that stuff's just rough on both sides. I was going to try and save it. And like a lot of things I was going to try and save on this, it just isn't worth it. So we will go ahead, cut those out. We'll put the outers in, then the trunk floor, then the inners. We'll get them in place. And what I'll actually do is along these sides, where you can see where that sits, I will cut this back, and unfortunately I'm going to have to overlap, and I'll probably plug weld and then stitch or weld all the way along, probably middle of the frame rail, and then just have that piece come down towards the front and get wider as it goes, and I'll have my my little piece hanging off the side that I can actually butt weld the inner wheelhouse to. So yeah, it's not perfect when it's all done. A million miles away from being a concours car, but some of these things, like the patch that I put in there, if you compare that with the other side over here, like you see the big gaps that they had down at the bottom where that attaches. Like, this is actually stronger than factory in a lot of places. It's a little bit of a backyard stuff going on, obviously, but it is what it is. And you know, it's like I say, it's not a flipper. It's my car. I'm going to keep it as long as I know it's as strong as factory. I'm happy. If it's a little stronger, excellent. We're not adding a ton of weight other than the subframe connectors, so that's good. But I want to be able to put a little bit of power into it later. Not a lot, but I don't want to worry about too much. Okay, until next time, she's still a shit show.